Welcome to episode 2 of Same Roots, Different Roots. I'm one half of your bro host, Joe, and this is
Aaron.
And you'll notice we got a third one over here, and this is our other brother, Cody. How you doing, Cody?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been a very interesting day.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
A lot going on. It's a little early in the morning. We decided to record this early mornings for some reason.
So here's the deal. One, I will agree the hardest part about doing this podcast is waking up early as shit. But the reality of it is, the earlier we do it, the longer we can record for our viewers. That way JC's asleep. Kenzie doesn't have to focus on JC by herself so much. It gives me a little more time down here while they're sleeping.
I suppose that works out. But then we're all tired. Nobody likes that.
Okay, I will admit, today we probably could have done a little later because JC is at Kenzie's parents'.
Of course. So we wanted to have Cody on here. We wanted to lighten up the mood a little bit, make it a little fun. Currently work with him, and these two have worked together in the past.
Yeah, we used to work at WD Door together when I first graduated high school. I was there for probably a couple years. How long were you at WD?
3 years.
So you're at 3 years. I guess you might not have been there as long as I thought. I thought you were there maybe I was only there for a year then.
I think you were only there for a year. I was there for 3.
But I was there for a year. He was there for 3. We worked together while we were there, installing garage doors and openers and stuff. We both kind of realized that the work we were doing and the pay we were getting wasn't phenomenal. So I told him, I said, we should just kind of do our own. We should just start our own garage door business. There's not very many around us. That's going to be that hat that Cody has on, TD garage doors, tailored garage doors. Basically, we both kind of decided why not start our own. So that's what we went ahead and did, got an LLC, done a little bit of marketing for it. I wouldn't say it's necessarily our full-time job. We kind of just do it on the side as of right now, just because, we still have to pay bills, and starting off a new company is never easy, so.
And that is in the Des Moines, Iowa area, since somebody didn't mention that. For all of our viewers in Australia and whatnot.
Australia, yeah.
For the right price, we'll fly to Australia, though, and sell your door.
We will. Everyone,
really expensive.
Everyone will message and say, I'm in Omaha. Will you guys come install garage doors? Or I'll when I do, marketing for, Angie leads and stuff like that, they ask me, how far are you willing to go? I said, I'll go across fucking U.S. I don't care. It's just going to be more expensive. I'll go anywhere, but they're paying for me to go there in a sense, and that's just really all they're paying for is the ability to make it there. If they want me to install their doors, I'll go there and do it. It's just got to be worth the money.
Right.
Fly first class only, though.
Yeah, first class only. I also automatically get 1 beer on the flight, if they even serve beer on the flight. Don't know.
First class or private jet only?
Here soon we'll have a private
first
jet.
Class, they might.
Here soon we'll have a private jet.
Yeah.
I'm speaking that into an existence. But no, right now, obviously you said you guys work together. I don't do anything close to garage doors for my full-time job. Obviously, like I said, I don't work at WD anymore. Now I currently work on cars for a living, and I enjoy it.
See, it's kind of close to garage doors. You got to pour the car into the garage to work on it.
Oh, yeah. The reality of it is, they both come down to understanding how things operate. If you don't understand how a garage door operates, you can't put one in.
See, and that's the thing, too. If your door at your job ever breaks, tell your job, hey, you don't got to call nobody. I'm right here. You just got to pay me a little more.
The funny thing is, when I worked at Deary, their garage door broke, and I told them, I said, well, I can fix it for you. And they said, oh, really? You know how? I said, yeah, I own a garage door business. They're like, oh, well, can you? And I said, yeah, but I have to invoice you for it. And they're like, oh, we can't do that. And I'm like, of course not, because then you're paying me to be here and you're paying me to fix your garage door.
It's okay. The doors at mine and Joe's job, whenever they break, I just kind of watch maintenance struggle to fix it. I'm just like, I could do it, but I'm not doing that.
See, I always try and make money out of it. If they'll pay me to do it, I'll do it. But if they ain't paying me, I ain't doing it.
I'm not a falcon or a dog pissing all over their yard. They're not going to pay me an extra.
Nobody's going to know what the fuck you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking
about.
For
instance, our job apparently bought a pigeon hunting falcon to get rid of the pigeons around our job. And then they also used to pay a dude to bring his dog in to piss all over the campus to get rid of the geese.
What?
Yeah. I can attest to the fact that the dog didn't do shit. There were geese all over all the time.
Could you imagine just being that guy yeah, you pay me $200, I'll bring my dog to piss all over your grass.
I guarantee he got more than that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we recently heard that supposedly there's the owner bought a falcon. People were looking for the nest where nobody knows where it's at. This could very well be false, but yeah, we got told that he bought a falcon, a trained falcon, to get rid of the pigeons.
That is I feel like there's got to be a better way to spend your money for that.
There certainly is. There's
I don't know. They spend $10,000 on koi food.
On what?
Koi
Koi
fish.
fish food.
Koi fish food.
$10,000.
Yeah,
on
we
food
got
for
a
it.
we got a pond and there's koi fish in there.
And keep in mind, it's not where like the public can see it. It's behind.
It's literally
headquarters.
just for the owner. The owner's like, I want koi fish.
Well,
That's
Or
what
if they
it is.
host events.
Yeah, it's for
Oh.
events and like customer tours and whatnot. It's to let them know we make so much money that we can buy this shit.
But we're gonna
So-
pay our employees like shit.
Eh,
Yeah, I wouldn't
No?
say
No?
No.
Well, that's a plus. I
I mean,
guess.
I've been there 9 years, and I don't stay there if I get paid shit. So.
That's fair. Yeah,
I've been there 3, and the amount of time I worked at the garage door company for 3 years, and I make like $5 more now where I'm at.
See, the reason I said that though is because to me, like you're spending you said $10,000 a month on koi fish
I don't know
food.
if it's a month, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be a year.
Oh, okay, that's different. If you're talking $10,000 a month on fish food for koi fish, that the koi fish alone were probably 10 grand for
Oh, yeah.
depending on how many are in there.
Well, when I looked it up, koi
But-
fish can range anywhere from like $500 to $100,000 or
But
something.
the thing is, like, if you're
crazy
spending
amount.
that much money on that, I don't know. It's to me, it's a big business, big corporation. There's probably a shit ton around the U.S. I would assume.
Oh, they're
And outside US.
worldwide.
Yeah.
So then it's a little different. Like, I mean, to them, that little bit of money is nothing.
Oh yeah.
But like, I don't know. I know when like me and Cody do garage doors, with tailored garage doors, I look at it as if we're doing 2 garage doors and it pays a certain amount, and he's doing one and I'm doing one, he gets half. It might be a little different just because he is essentially a co-owner and he does help a lot. And I know he has the experience to do it, but like, I've never understood that how owners can spend money on just stupid shit, but still don't pay their employees a super good wage in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, depends on the place. You know, like we both said, I feel like we get paid. I mean, obviously more would be better.
I will say, like, our job, it's the first job I ever had that, because of what's going on in the world inflation-wise, that they give you random money because of how inflation
I guess
is.
that's fair. I mean, depending on the benefits and the what's the word for that? The environment, I guess. Like I mean, I've worked for, I'm not gonna say the place, but I worked for a company that was just a fucking shithole, worst job I've ever had, and it's like, yeah, you might pay good for. So at the time, I was 18 and I was making $19 an hour. But
Yeah, see,
one, the
that's-
work sucked and the environment sucked. And I mean, for example, I was sick and it was when COVID was happening, and they're like, "Oh, we think you have COVID. You have to stay home for a week." And I was like, I don't have COVID. I took a test. And 2, I can't afford to stay home for a week. Well, they said, well, you can't come to work. We won't let you. And I was like, well, then I'm going to file for unemployment because I know I don't have COVID and you just don't want me to come in. So I ended up filing for unemployment. That became a big issue. But yeah, I wasn't there for very long. So I guess it really does depend on kind of the environment you're in. I guess if you have a good boss and a good owner that gives you good benefits and has morals like that, then it's a little different.
Honestly, I'm not going to say what company, but a job that I had when COVID was around, I had a positive test, sent it to him to show him, and he said, yeah, no, I still need you to come in.
Oh,
Yeah, you can wear a mask.
Were you not at the place we're at now during COVID?
Not during, like, the big, like,
Oh well, then
Just
you might
happened.
not even know. You might have. I'm sure you heard. So this place that we work at now, they actually, one. I mean, it changed as it went along. But if you got a positive test, you were gone for, I don't remember if it was 10 days or 2 weeks, like minimum, and you get paid for that whole time. And then also they changed the hours. So normally it would be the shift getting off work would be at 6:15, and the shift getting on would obviously come in at 6:15 or 6 o'clock. And they cut it down to the outgoing shift left at 6, and then the incoming shift came at 6:15, and still paid you for that whole amount, just so there was no crossover. And then they also gave out, I don't remember how they factored it up, but it was bonus, basically just money for just because of what was going on. So that was always kind of cool. I think it's like they took some percentage of how many hours you worked during that COVID time and gave you a small bonus check for that amount.
Which is kind of crazy to me that companies were giving employees more money during COVID, because the reality of it is that's when COVID happened, that's probably when people had the most money in their pockets. Like, yes, stuff might have been more expensive, but people weren't going out and going on vacations and going and doing all of these things that most people spend a lot of their extra money on. And that's why, like, for what I do for a living, when I work on cars, so it's like people spent majority of that extra money they had on cars because the only thing they could do is get in a car and go drive around. So then that made me more, at first it was slow because nobody was leaving their fucking house. But once people started leaving and realizing, like, okay, it's kind of calming down, and people started leaving and buying cars and with all this extra money they had, it definitely benefited me a lot.
You say the reason why during COVID, why companies were kind of giving employees money is because also during that time there was a loan that businesses only could apply for if your employees got sick, then they would give you the funds to pay them while they're not at work.
Yeah, the health impact or whatever it's called.
Yeah, speaking of our work, so like we got a lot of people there, not a lot, but a few people that like to talk on their phone, on speakerphone, and it gets real annoying. They do it in the break room and everywhere, but there was one day I was in the bathroom in the stall, and there was a guy in the stall next to me, and he started talking on his phone, a phone call, not like watching videos or anything like that. And the toilets that we have there, like, I've been there 9 years, and I don't think they've maybe been clogged once. They're pretty high suction toilets. They don't get clogged very well, so that means they're loud. And so I just kept, they got the sensor behind you, so I just kept kind of moving out of the way every 5-10 seconds once it was stopped flushing. And he finally either got sick of it or maybe he was actually going to the bathroom while he was on the phone, who knows. But he left, and I just remember thinking, like, thank God I could finally jerk off in peace. It was ridiculous.
Jerking off at work is wild.
Doesn't everybody do that?
Well,
it's just like taking a shit at work. I mean, boss makes $1, I make a dime.
That's
so
why I jerk off on company time.
So we talked about last week the fireworks story, as we called it.
God.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare.
Somebody got shot in the face with a firework.
Yeah, the camera's not close enough, but I got a scar under my eye right here. Were you there when that happened? Mm-mm. No, you weren't there?
He was invited, I think. Just didn't show up.
So do I...
I don't remember if I was even invited. I don't remember, but if I wasn't, I definitely was doing something that day is why I didn't come.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So do you want me to tell the real story or the story that I tell people?
I don't know what story you tell people.
What I tell people...
I was there
is
for it, so I know. Yeah.
Just do both.
So the story that I tell people is that everything was done going off. So me and Joe spend a shit ton of money on fireworks every year. So does his wife's dad. And for 4th of July, we set all of them off. And there's been a couple of years where not everything has gone off, and then we end up having to wait till the next year to use it. So after everything was done, this is a story I tell people. After everything was done going off, I tell everybody that I walked down there, and I was walking between these pallets of fireworks, and I was just kind of looking side to side to see if anything didn't go off, and I just happened to look over, and one started fucking going off, and it was one of the ones that go like this, so it shot me in the face. Yeah, that's not what happened.
I was gonna say, so this story is the one that makes you not look like an idiot.
Yeah. So the real story and why it makes me look like an idiot is the reality is everything was done going off. I did go down there. I was already down there, whatever it was. And it was one of the big, like, it was a big firework cake. I think it was probably like a $120 one, if not more than that. And like half of it didn't go off. So I have a blowtorch in my hand. I'm like, that's a fucking waste of money. Fuck that. So I grab the torch and I stick it down in the firework. And I was like, I was thinking I got like a second or two to get out of here. No, that shit instantly went off. Like I hit it with the flame. It went off, hit me in my face. It was right here underneath my eye. And I ran away, fell to the ground, screaming, freaking out. I had went back up front where everybody was and basically showed everyone that I got shot in the face with a firework. And I think I said in the last podcast, I talked about everyone was freaking out, saying, oh, we need to get inside, clean the blood off, and all this other stuff. And I remember looking at Aunt Jess and going, I don't give a shit if half my face is hanging off. I need to be able to see, because I knew I couldn't see out of this eye at the time because it's so swollen. So then me and Kinsey got in the truck, threw JC in the back or whatever, drove down to the hospital, and the doctor basically told me, one, I'm lucky I have eyesight still in my left eye, and two, if it would have been an inch or two higher, I'd probably be dead because it would have fucking shot into my eye and blown up. But it hit my cheekbone right below my eye and bounced off and blew up on the ground.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know who in particular I was yelling at, but around the same time when everyone was saying, oh, let's get something to wipe his face off and stuff, I yelled just to the people of, like, get these fucking trucks out of the way.
Yeah.
Because they were all blocking in the driveway, because that's where, around the area where we're doing the fireworks. And I knew they were in your way to get to the hospital.
Yeah, that was a scary, scary moment. I remember being in the truck and just freaking out, and I kept pulling, because Aunt Jess gave me a shirt that she had, and I had covered my face with it so the blood didn't get everywhere. And I remember I kept pulling it off of my face and trying to see if I could see out of my eye, and it was like blurry and black, and I 100% thought I was going to be blind in my left eye, and God, am I lucky I'm not.
I'm curious, did anybody maybe, like, beforehand tell you, like, maybe saw you do it and was like, hey, don't do that? Just wondering if anybody maybe warned you not to do that.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's weird. I remember something different.
I'm also pretty curious on why nobody was like, we should probably call an ambulance to get him.
Because that would have been
quicker.
slower.
That would have been slower.
How do you
We
figure?
were in Runnels. It would have taken forever for an ambulance to get out there and then back to the hospital. I guess getting treatment would have been faster, I guess, because they would have treated me in the ambulance. But one, I'm very glad we didn't, because that would have cost a shit ton of money.
Did you drive?
I didn't drive.
Okay.
Fuck no, I couldn't see nothing.
'cause
Kinsey
that
drove,
would've
and she was freaking out.
Yeah.
No, Kinsey, Kinsey, I don't even know what would have been going through her head at that time. I know if it was me, I would have been fucking, it would have been a bad deal. I would have been freaking out.
Yeah, we because obviously we waited till dark to shoot the fireworks off. That was like, what?
It was probably
9,
9 o'clock.
10 o'clock almost. Got done 11, 10:30.
Yeah, if that.
And, we went up to the hospital afterwards, and we were there till 2 a.m. And then we finally were like, we got to leave, because I think it was it a Sunday, and we worked the next day, I think?
I don't even remember. Yeah.
Or we had something to do the next day.
Yeah,
and
because I remember I sent a, so where I was working at the time, they had a rule that if you call in sick the day after a holiday, so if you get a holiday off and you call in sick the day before or the day after, then they won't pay you for the holiday because they know you just want extra time or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were at the hospital, I took a picture of my face all fucked up and sent it to my boss, and I was like, hopefully I still get paid for 4th of July, and he responded and said, yeah, I think that's a pretty valid reason to not be here.
Yeah.
But no, they did end up letting me go home that night. I was honestly surprised. I thought they were going to keep me there.
Yeah, I was to say, because we were waiting on them to come in. I don't remember what we were waiting for, because they had came in a couple times and, like, cleaned you up, I think. And then
that was the worst part of it. Like, the reality of it is it didn't, like, hurt. Like, you would think that, like, with how swollen my face was and bruised and everything, that my face would have been in a lot of pain. But I don't know if it was just the adrenaline, because, like, it never hurt other than when it first hit me. Like, when it first hit me, it hurt and scared the shit out of me. But it wasn't painful in a sense. The worst part about it was, one, thinking I was going to lose my eyesight. And two, when I ran away and fell to the ground, it was wet and muddy out. And I got mud in my eye because I was holding my face. And I literally sat in the hospital for like 3 or 4 hours with mud in my eye, and they refused to clean it out.
That's the other thing too that could be why it didn't hurt, is it's a firework that has heat. It could have very easily just cauterized everything, to where it's cauterizing your nerves and keeping it from.
No, because
I think it was just adrenaline.
well, it didn't
for
even. It
that
didn't
long,
even. It
though?
didn't even hurt at all after. Like the next day, the day after that, it didn't hurt. So I don't know if it just hit me so hard that it like. I don't know. It was weird, but I know it hit me hard enough. Like
Do you feel anything when you poke it? Like, or is it like you don't feel anything because maybe it just shot your nerves?
It feels about the same as. But
And we could probably get a picture. 'Cause I have it.
oh yeah, we'll put a picture.
I'll put it on there.
We'll put a picture right above Joe's head, right about
Probably
there.
just cover the whole video.
Ooh, I guess I don't know if we could put that on YouTube. They might. You think they'll take it down with
It's
it?
not that gory.
It's a little
pretty bad.
gory.
If it's the same picture Aaron sent me, it's pretty bad.
I guess we could just show a
I'll try
picture of. We'll decide there because there's a few of like my face ballooned out to the side.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is like your cheek was huge.
But when it first happened, I had because the firework hit me so hard. The doctor told me it didn't cut me. It hit me so hard that it tore my skin, and that's what my scar is from.
Yeah.
I got a real weird question.
This should be good.
What's some of like the most like kind of gruesome like ancient torture you guys know about?
The blood eagle.
I know that one.
I don't know
one's
what that is.
insane.
I don't remember exactly what it's something about like pulling your ribs apart. And
So what it is?
What the fuck?
Is
Yeah.
back in Viking days, there would be 2 posts. They'd tie your arms out, put you on your knees. They take a hatchet from your back, and they'd break your ribs from your back, pull your lungs out, drape them over your shoulders, and you sit there until you bleed out. And sometimes it'd be hours, sometimes it would be days, weeks, just depends.
I ain't never seen anything like that. The only thing I've seen is like
well, I've never seen it.
You know what I mean.
At least I hope no one's ever
well,
seen it
I've
nowadays.
seen like on like Facebook and stuff where they show like historic videos of like historic torture things. Like one
You think they have videos of back in Viking days when cameras didn't
I'm talking
exist?
about of the torture
People
machine
describing
or
them and
whatever.
explaining
It's not a
them.
machine though. They would just show you 2 posts and rope.
Well, this was
If that was the case.
what I saw was like one where they mount your hands in something and then it pushes in and it starts splitting your fingers completely open down the middle all the way down. Just some weird.
I've heard
stuff.
of ones where they grow bamboo through somebody.
Oh yeah, yep.
I don't remember. There's a movie. I don't remember the movie at all, but they trap a mouse or a rat.
Oh yeah, I
too,
know exactly
and
what
then
you're
heat
talking
up
about.
the bowl.
Yeah, and then it eats through them.
Yeah.
And there's another one too that I don't remember who what country originated from. There's one they tie you down and they turn a faucet on barely to where a drop of water will randomly drip on your head, and it fucks with your psyche to the point to where eventually it starts to hurt with
I've
drops
heard
of
of that.
water.
I've never heard of that.
It's the name's like something water torture, not waterboarding. I think it's like Japanese water torture or Chinese water torture or something like that. Yep.
Oh, that
And-
escalated quickly from getting shot in the face to a firework to Japanese water torture.
And there's another one too that they used to tie your arms and legs to horses, and the horse would pull you apart.
I
Yeah,
think
that
I've
sounds
seen that
fun.
one.
And then another one to where they'd rope your feet and tie you to the back of the horse and ride the
Yeah.
horse and drag you.
I think a lot of people have seen that.
Yeah, I don't think that was a torture thing. I think that was something else.
I think that was "You're Gonna Die."
Yeah, I think
That's
that.
torture though.
that was-
I wouldn't want to. That's
That's fair.
torture.
That's fair.
See, I think all the like ancient torture stuff is like because somebody did something bad. That one is for
Just doing it for fun.
other. From where that came from, yeah, probably kind of a little bit. 'Cause the only time I've ever heard of that was like slavery times and stuff, where there's
What?
like,
I've heard
Yeah.
of that in like
Cowboy
yeah,
times.
cowboys.
oh, well, I've only ever heard of.
Have
like,
you never watched Yellowstone?
I've never watched it.
Oh, that's such a good show. You guys need to watch it. It's such a good show.
I've only ever heard of like stories of like some guy getting dragged behind like a car or a house because people were like, oh, he's black, get him. Like that
Dragged
was the
behind-
whole reason.
Dragged behind a house.
Did I said,
You
I
said
say
a car or a
house.
house.
I meant car or horse. Whoops.
Well, any historical figure you guys think you'd fight?
Historical figure that I'd fight. I would fight. Oh, I don't know. Joe?
Gandhi. Because
Gandhi?
why the fuck
I
not?
mean, yeah, he's what's that word? Passive. So he ain't gonna fight back.
Yeah, I'm winning that one.
Guess what? I don't even know who the fuck Gandhi is.
I've
only heard the name.
He's a monk.
I think he's from India.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what he was. I think he was some sort of leader.
He was like
Might have just been like a spiritual leader or something.
Mine, personally, I would fight Helen Keller.
Oh, Jesus.
She ain't seeing nor hearing me coming. She's done for.
Nah, you'll still lose. She beat the whole Nazi regime. You're
Yeah.
going down.
Okay,
gotta
let's unpack that. Helen Keller.
Oh, I'm thinking of
You're thinking of Anne Frank.
Yeah. Yep. Whoops. Wow, I'm on a roll today.
So, didn't Helen Keller fly a plane or something? Or who's the one that flew?
All right, I feel better because that was dumber than what I said.
No,
for sure.
what did
Amelia
Helen-
Earhart?
No, Amelia Earhart wasn't blind and deaf.
Anne Frank. I'm pretty sure she flew a plane as well.
There was someone that was blind and deaf that flew a plane.
No.
I don't
Yes.
know what you're talking about.
Google it.
Did Helen Keller fly a plane?
No, don't Google that because I don't think it was Helen Keller.
I think it might have been. I feel like I've heard because everyone knows about like the whole blind and deaf thing, but then I had heard extra stuff on top of that.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
I'll admit when I'm wrong. It was Helen
Yeah.
Keller.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know for
I
sure.
say because
but
I
that's what
remember
thought.
because like everyone's like, oh, she could read and stuff when she's blind and deaf. That's crazy. But then I remember hearing that she flew a plane. I'm like, how is that not the main thing that people talk about? Like, yeah, I can
So, Cody,
understand how somebody could read and write when you're deaf and blind, but flying a fucking plane.
because you can feel with your fingers and
Yeah.
stuff. But Cody, you're fucked. She's gonna bomb your ass.
Bomb me?
She's
Yeah,
gonna bomb
she's
you
gonna
in that
fucking
plane.
dive bomb you with the plane. Yeah.
I'm fighting her. I'm not.
You never said what kind of fight.
I'm fighting her in a plane.
Maybe. You could,
Either way, she's still ain't gonna see me coming. She ain't gonna know if I'm coming up from under her plane and just ram her plane.
So apparently she might. Somehow she's flying that fucking thing and not running into stuff.
and reading. Because
Well, that's
the
because
big
of
thing.
Braille. That's how she reads.
But how does she? Okay, let's dig into that
Yeah,
a little
if
bit
you get
more.
into it, it gets fucking crazy because you realize she was blind and deaf either real early in life or from birth, and like it's easy to understand like somebody who goes blind or deaf later and they know what words are.
Yeah.
But like if you don't know what it is in the first place, how do you teach these bumps mean
dots,
dog?
yeah.
But then you have to also teach what dog means.
Yeah,
And it's like it means this animal, and,
And
it's
not
like
even that.
I
How
still
do you-
don't know what that
Oh,
is.
there you
how
go.
do you
Hey,
teach that these dots are
so-
the letter D and these dots are the
An
letter O?
illness left her blind, deaf, and mute at 19 months old, so she was a baby.
Yeah, which means how the fuck did she learn anything?
Right. Yeah. Because these dots mean the letter F. Okay, what the fuck's the letter F?
And here's
It's the beginning of the word fire truck. What's the word fire truck? Like,
here's the reality of it. If you think about it,
Yeah, but it's the same way
you couldn't teach me fucking Braille right now. Imagine if I was deaf and blind. You definitely ain't ever teaching me Braille.
I mean, I bet you could eventually. It'd take a long fucking time, but I don't get because like you have to have some starting point to teach something.
But that's the thing. What they probably could have did was, yes, there's certain like patterns for each letter, but what they could have did was, this is the pattern for this letter. This is what the letter is, but the pattern is now in the shape of the letter. So she feels her finger.
But she doesn't know what letters are.
Well, teach her. I don't know. Same thing with
Teach her
children.
how. That's my point. There's no starting point.
There's-
There's no
you
starting
can't
point
show
when
her
kids start
this
school.
is what an F is.
There's no starting point when kids are born.
But they
babies
can,
don't know
they
how
can
to do
see
it
their
either way.
eyes and
Yeah.
they can see
Yeah,
with
they
their
can
eyes
take
and
in the
hear.
information.
There's no
There's
information.
no
being
starting
taken
point
in.
and
I
no
don't
way
know.
to take in
Maybe they just
information.
took a funnel, shoved it in her ear, and screamed loud enough to where she could hear. I
That
don't
makes
know.
tons of sense.
But it doesn't make sense to me because, like you were saying, there's no. Because, like, the other thing is, okay, if she used her hands to feel Braille, and like Cody was saying, she feels Braille and it reads dog in Braille, and then they grab a dog and she touches a dog. How the fuck does she know that that's a dog?
Yeah,
she
if
doesn't know
if
that
I
that's
close
a
my
dog.
eyes and pet a dog and then pet a cat, I probably couldn't tell what the difference is.
Dog's hair are a little more coarse than that.
Some dogs.
Cats.
That's the other thing. Some dogs feel I could pet two dogs and go, one of these is a dog and one of them's
A
something
zebra.
else.
Whatever's equivalent to a
You
giraffe.
know. Also,
Yeah.
about the Helen Keller thing about how she flew a plane. You guys think she flew it by herself?
No, I know she didn't fly by herself.
She had an interpreter with her.
Yeah, but did the interpreter have controls?
I would imagine.
Or was the interpreter just sky? No, no,
Well,
no other planes.
That'd be pointless because she
She
can't
can't
hear
hear anything.
There you go. Good point. Like, that's what I'm saying. How the fuck do you
he
learn
was probably
that?
a co-pilot, so he probably had his own controls.
And
So then he flew the plane. She didn't do shit. She sat in a plane.
He probably got her to the point to where like she's up in the sky and she don't have to really worry about nothing. Then she took control.
Okay, well then that also doesn't count.
I think.
I don't know. Let's see if we
if
can get Helen Keller on and we'll ask her.
All right,
if you can't land or take off in a plane, I don't think you're flying a plane.
agreed.
Because the other thing is well, I guess back then obviously it probably wasn't the same, but like right now, like planes have autopilot, cruise control.
Yeah.
You get up in the air and you're just like, bing. All right, once we're 2 hours later, we'll fucking. All you got to do is watch gauges and shit.
by this logic, if you say that counts, I've flown a plane because the JR that I talked about last week, his dad took us. I don't remember how it happened or if he knew somebody, but we flew planes. But it was that the pilot had the controls and he just went, all right, go ahead and fly, and I just went.
Now that's a question I have.
Cool. I flew a plane straight in the air with nothing around me.
Yeah.
And then he went, all right, I'm going to take back over. And like we switched or whatever. So, yeah, that's not flying a plane. That's holding the controls of a plane that's flying itself.
We're going to get a lot of backlash for saying Helen Keller never flew a plane.
That's fine with me. I'll take it.
More I look, I'm really curious if she wasn't like as blind as we're thinking. Because how the hell did she learn sign language? Because it says here she was taught sign language.
That goes back to the whole reading thing.
So my guess, I could be wrong, but my guess is she wasn't like as blind.
Google
as
how blind was Helen Keller.
Because like some people, like if you can like, some people can still see blurs,
Yeah.
but it's considered blind.
If that's the case, then I'm not nearly as impressed with Helen Keller as I thought I was.
We need to rewrite the fucking history books.
You remember Merle, right?
Yeah.
He is considered blind.
Yep, I knew that.
All it says when I search how blind is Helen Keller is Helen Keller was legally blind.
Just look up, could Helen Keller see anything?
Could Helen Keller only see black?
We can cut this out, obviously.
Now it says Helen Keller was blind after becoming ill, like completely blind.
Completely blind. So that means you can't see
Anything.
shit.
Yeah. Completely
Yeah,
black.
so it goes back to the whole, just like Braille. The only thing I can think of is they were like,
Have we considered
feel
maybe
this means this.
Have we considered that maybe they were just lying?
Yeah, maybe she really wasn't. Maybe she just wanted to become a
Either she wasn't actually blind or she didn't actually learn all that shit, and they're just like, we'll just get you through everything and we'll tell everyone you did it yourself. I think that's a possibility.
Sounds like the moon landing.
Oh boy.
The Earth is flat. The moon's flat too.
The government killed JFK.
You never know. They just released 2,400
Yeah, I know.
new files or whatever the fuck that is. Aliens killed JFK.
See, I
from
don't
the
know how
moon.
reliable this is, but you guys know what Quora is?
No.
Kind of like Reddit, but not really.
Oh.
It's saying that she wore cosmetic shells over her eyes to make them look more normal, and her irises were cloudy, so she could
She could see
see,
something.
but everything was cloudy.
Yeah. So, not as impressed.
Well, so it must have looked normal when she was flying the plane.
Just
Looks
clouds.
cloudy.
Yeah.
It's cloudy. Oh, I know. Everything is.
You're telling me,
Are
man.
we in the air yet?
So, yeah, I think we need to change the history books. Helen Keller is not anything special.
But yeah, that's
And
why.
I'll
I'd
see
fight.
not-
Not
on that.
anything special.
But yeah, that's why I'd fight Helen Keller.
Well, now she can see.
Yeah, she might
You're
fucking
fucked.
see you coming now.
Really? You think I can't take Helen Keller?
He said,
Who knows? Maybe she learned to fucking box, too. She
Yeah.
flew a plane.
she fucking UFC fighter, bud.
Yeah, all she's gonna see is just a big cloud coming towards her. Maybe she'll think she's flying again.
Maybe.
She can't hear nothing, so I mean, maybe she didn't know someone told her, I'm taking you up in a plane. And they got her onto a plane.
Get her to fly the plane, then kick her out.
Yeah.
She thinks she's still flying it until she hits the ground.
Tell her I'm getting her
Then she thinks she lost the rest of her vision.
Tell her I'm getting her interpreter on a plane so she can fly again. Just let her take control of herself.
And jump out with a parachute.
Yeah. You're on your own.
Well, I think we should get back into some stories from growing up, especially because we got Cody on here. And I know Cody's got a lot of different stories.
What do you mean?
We're in for something, because that was a great face of, I don't have shit.
Of just different shit that happened. Like I told...
Let me be flat out here.
I told Joe about the vice grips that you threw at Tyler. Or Tyler threw at you.
It sounds like you've told several of my stories already.
Not all of them, just some of them.
We only have 8 stories. Been alive for fucking 30 years.
I have not been alive
I've been alive for 30 years.
I also haven't been alive for 30 years.
I've been alive for 25.
Whatever. However many years you fuckers are.
If you think I can remember when I was a baby, you're wrong.
I think the youngest I can remember is like, I remember elementary school, second grade maybe.
That's it?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's hard for me to tell if I actually remember something or I've just been told it.
Yeah.
I remember stuff when I was in like 4th grade because I remember going to Grandview Park with Dad.
You just said that's it to my 2nd grade, and you just talked about 4th grade.
I meant 4 years old.
Because
4th grade.
If that's like the only thing I could really remember, like without remember being told by anybody that happened, is like clear back to 3rd grade.
Yeah.
I don't remember like everything back then,
no.
but I remember like certain things that happened in 4th grade. Like I remember hiding behind the couch on State Ave, when I was 4, and that had to have been when I was like 4 or 5. I remember getting hung by my underwear in the spare bedroom by Joe for like 2 or 3 hours straight.
I remember a few.
It wasn't that long.
It was it.
You
okay,
were crying, and Mom got you down.
It might not have been that long, but I know I was probably 5. It felt like fucking a year.
See, that's the thing.
Still shocked that worked.
I remember more stories about like you than I do myself. Like Elvis.
There you go.
Elvis. Oh.
Our
When you
dog.
used to put the glove on and let him bite your hand and spin him the fuck around.
Yeah. Do you remember when our cat, I was waiting for Mom to get home? I was waiting for Mom to get home, and I was sitting in front of the front door and waiting for her to walk up the stairs, and he jumped off the back of the couch and just, like, destroyed my ear. Mm-hmm. And then after that, Dad got rid of him.
I remember... So I got 2. One, I remember the reason why we got rid of Elvis.
Yeah,
that was bullshit.
I don't even know if Joe knows why we got rid of Elvis.
I'm not going to say any names. But the reason why we got rid
remember.
of Elvis...
Yeah, but do you know why he bit the neighbor?
Don't say no. Yeah. He bit the neighbor because the neighbor thought it would be hilarious to play with the dog's balls.
Yep.
So the dog bit him.
And did you know Dad didn't know that until like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
Dad said if he knew that, he wouldn't have got rid of him.
Yeah.
And then, what was the other one? I don't remember now.
Cool.
Oh, you still think it was me, but I would 100% tell you it was not me. It was Tyler. You used to have this stuffed white tiger that you claim that I cut a butthole in. That was not me.
Yeah, it was after Dad and Mom split up. Mom got me like a set of like 3 tigers because when I was really little, I was obsessed with tigers, and they were white and black striped ones. And the big one like disappeared. I don't even remember what happened to that. And then
that was the one that had the butthole cut in.
No, the medium one had the butthole cut in it because it was kind of harder. But one of the 2 of them cut a butthole in the tiger.
It was not me.
And I told Dad about it, and I don't remember what ended up happening after that. I actually forgot about that. Okay, here's another good one that I still don't know who it was. And I don't remember if it was...
We got to get to the bottom of this. Was the fuzz inside starting to get crusty?
I don't know.
Because that butthole was cut in there for a reason.
I don't know. I don't even know what happened to it after that.
I would hope Dad went, well, I know what this is for. We're going to throw it away.
I hope so. But another good one that I still don't know who it was. I think you had said at one point who it was, but I don't remember. So Dad was... I don't remember where Dad was, but it was me, Tyler, and Cody were all at home. And we had BB guns, and they were in Dad's closet. And either Tyler or Cody got my BB gun out, left it on Dad's bed, and left BBs all over Dad's bed. And Dad came in and fucking yelled at me, and I was like, "It wasn't me. I didn't do it." Blah
I
blah
think I know what
blah,
you're talking about.
and all kinds of shit. And nobody would admit to it. I said it had to have been one of them, and both of them were like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me."
It was 100%.
Is that when he broke them all in half or whatever?
Broke them all in half.
Didn't he? Or was that when I shot you?
No, that
I
yeah.
seem to remember Dad
No,
breaking all
that was
the BB
that was
guns and
when
shit in
Cody grabbed an airsoft gun and put it up to my arm and goes, "Feel the air. There's nothing in it." Boom! And shoots me literally up against my arm.
In my
Either that
defense-
or it was when we were shooting through the siding on the back of the
In
house.
my defense, there was nothing in it. That one was stuck in there.
Bullshit.
So there
He-
was something in it.
He dropped it down the barrel, I guarantee it.
No,
Because he
I
pulled the
did
mag out and was like,
not.
"See, there's nothing in it."
I did not. I remember one story. That apartment Dad used to live in behind Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
I remember getting cops showed up with their guns drawn on me.
Oh, for having your BB gun out in the field?
And somebody called and they thought that a 10-year-old, or however old I was shooting a real-life sniper rifle in the back of a fucking apartment building.
I remember the apartments by McDonald's there in Pleasant Hill.
I wasn't alive for that.
I don't remember being there at all.
I don't think Cody was either. I think it was just you and
Is it
Tyler.
just me? Oh, I
Or
guess,
maybe
Yeah, it had
maybe
to been you and Tyler because
maybe Cody
you weren't
when
born until we were on the house estate.
you
Wait.
might have been born. I
If I
know I
wasn't, I was
wasn't.
a baby.
Yeah, he would have
Yeah,
been
it
a
was
baby.
quite a while
but
ago. But we would stand on the edge of the street, me and some random kid in their apartments, and we'd throw snowballs at cars as they drove by. And I don't remember ever getting rocks, but we did not check the snow. Like, we weren't making sure we didn't get rocks, so it could have happened. But there was one time we were throwing them, and the person finally stopped, and we were like, "Well, time to run back inside
Yeah,
the
take
apartment
off.
building." Yeah. Well, I don't remember ever getting caught, but that was the closest. I think we stopped after that because we're like, yeah, that was too close for comfort.
So we talked about this last week, and it just came into my head again. Cody, do you remember
Nope.
when you used to take me and Nate downtown?
Yeah, and scared the shit out of Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hear your.
And it wasn't downtown. It was like 6th Ave.
But you used to take us downtown, is why you
Yeah.
had us. Because I told Joe and everybody on here. I said Cody used to pick us up at like midnight, drop us off downtown, and pick us back up at like 4:00 in the morning, and then would drive us back out to Nate's or wherever we were staying that night. But I told him about 6th Ave. Let's hear your version of this, because I told mine, and I'm curious on what you remember.
Most I remember is went over to 6th Ave for something, and Nate was petrified, scared shitless. I think I got in the trunk or something, and I handed him like a bat or something. I said, "Here, if you're worried, now you have a weapon."
I was gonna say, what I remember, like I said last week, I could have sworn he was crying. I don't know if he was
He
or
wasn't
not.
crying.
Whatever. But
He was very, very
I know
scared.
he was extremely scared, and I remember you giving him the bat and him going, "What's this for?" And you said, "Just in case," and then walked away.
I think I may have said that just to kind of
Just to fuck with him
scare
more.
him more. Yeah. But he wasn't crying. If he was crying, I definitely would have done that.
I don't know. I think he would have still.
No, I would have felt bad if that was the case. If he was
Back
crying,
then,
we
you
probably
didn't
would've
feel
left.
bad about anything.
Bullshit.
When?
All the time. If
Could have
any-
fooled me.
For some reason, whenever somebody would cry, I would feel bad, no matter what it was for. So if
I
Nate
don't
was
remember that at
crying,
all.
honestly, we probably would have gotten in the car and just left.
I don't even remember why we were over there. But
don't
yeah,
know
I
why
talked
either.
about that last week because that was fucking hilarious.
You should get Nate here when he can and talk about.
He just
it.
had brain surgery.
Well, I know
I would say
that.
I brought that up earlier. He
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when he can, and bring up that story. See
Well,
what he remembers.
I sent him the link for the podcast, so he'll hear it if he actually listens to it. If he doesn't,
yeah,
he
but
doesn't.
I think it'd be more funny like having him on here and talking about it and see what he remembers.
Oh, he would argue it to the. I would still say that he cried, even if he didn't. I still would, because he tells me every time. He's like, "Oh, I didn't cry, and I'm like, "Yeah, you did. I know you were," just to fuck with him. But that's why
Yeah,
every time I tell it, I always say that he was
But
crying.
yeah, he didn't cry, but he was very scared.
Oh yeah, he thought he was gonna die there.
To be fair, in his offense, he is a very small guy, so I kind of see why.
And the other thing, like I told Joe, I was like, I wouldn't use the word sheltered, but he went to Sally's Polk his entire life, and he lived in Runnels. Like, he never experienced anything like that. Because, like I said, it's on the other side of 6th Ave. The people you're seeing at 4 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you picked us up are the people you don't want to be around.
Yeah, but that, as long as you don't say anything to him or make eye contact, you're fine.
But that's the thing is Nate, he had never seen anything like that, so he's just like, I just want to go home.
Well, I got a story from Sully's Polk. I don't remember their names, but it was a viral video of that guy breaking the lunch tray over that.
Oh, yeah, and everyone called him Slim Shady.
I was sitting in the lunch table, like, I wasn't in the video, I don't think, but I was sitting in the lunch table right by it when it happened.
Yeah, did you never see that video, Joe?
No.
In the video, he looks like Eminem. Like, he looks like Slim Shady, and he has a plastic lunch tray, and he's behind this dude, and all of a sudden he's just like, whack, and fucking just breaks it over the dude's head.
Yeah, I'd never heard about that. I assume it was after I graduated.
Oh yeah, I think I was in like junior high.
That's why.
But he rode the bus with us when we lived over on Hubble, Cody.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Probably not.
It was a pretty viral video for a while.
So Cody, how is having 3 kids going?
It's a blast.
They're all getting old now.
Old?
Older. I mean, Mariah kind of just does her own thing now.
Oh.
Franny, not so much, I guess, and not Ben, but Ben's a little terror. He's a crazy little
I don't
man.
know what you guys are talking about. I had him for 3 hours and it was fine.
Because he's fine with other people. When he's at home, different story.
It's so hard, like, thinking about when JC's older of, like, Kenzie's bounced around the idea of, like, homeschooling her, which I would like to do just so she doesn't experience, like, bullying and all that stuff. But I also don't want her to be, like, socially awkward or not have friends, in a sense. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, no matter what, at some point in her life, she's going to experience that kind of stuff. So I almost don't want to make sure it doesn't happen, in a sense.
Pretty much what you got to do is, like, you can't keep them sheltered from it. It's going to happen one way or another. You just got to let them know that you're there to talk if they need it.
Yeah.
And don't make it to where it seems like they can't tell you anything because you're just going to get mad or whatever.
Yeah, because I'm sure all 3 of us know how that goes. Dealing with dad growing up. That's how it was for a long time.
Yeah.
Which is, it's way better now, but...
And granted, I get to the point, too, like, yes, even if you make it seem like they can talk to you about anything, there's still certain things they're not going to talk to you about because it's going to be awkward because you're their parent. But it's nice to have, like, somebody there they can talk to, like Mariah could talk to Renee or Shelby or whatever.
Oh, yeah. And that's how it was for me. Like, when I was going through all that shit with Dad, me, Dad, and Joe came to the agreement of, like, if something like that happens, I'll tell Joe. And then Joe can talk to Dad and basically see how his reaction's going to be and be like, you need to calm the fuck down.
See, like, when I went to Sully's Polk, first off, I started getting bullied, but I didn't, like, I think...
Yeah, I had to have a conversation with you because you freaked the hell out and threw chairs all over a room.
That wasn't when I was at Sully's Polk. That was when I was...
Yeah, I would say that
in
was...
schools.
Yeah.
I think... No, you might not have been I don't know. Either you were in boot camp or you were living far away or something. I felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. So I dealt with it on my own, but I ended up just beating the shit out of the kid.
Yeah.
And that worked out for me, but...
I'll say that's what I did.
I was say I feel like that's kind of like a worldwide... what's the saying for that, like, conclusion, I guess you could use, of, like... I can't find the word that I'm looking for.
At the same time, it's a problem, too, because you don't want them to think that that's how you solve every problem.
Yeah.
Because that's not how you solve every problem.
Well, it doesn't always work either.
Well, and that's why I think it's like I think that's definitely an option, but I do think there should be other steps before.
Yeah.
Like, there should always be a, hey, tell them yourself, stop, like, we're going to have an issue or whatever.
I think that step can kind of be skipped because I feel like that does more harm than anything else because now you tell them that and they go, oh, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
So
and that's what I'm saying is, like, but what I'm saying is give them a chance to stop by saying it yourself. That doesn't do it. Then tell somebody that can try and make it stop, whether it's your parents or a teacher if it's at school, which, again, that will probably make it worse. And then if they continue to do it, then you go, all right, motherfucker, I gave you 2 chances. Now you're getting fucked up.
Yeah, that's basically what happened with me. Like, this one kid would just constantly say stuff, and I don't remember exactly what happened, whatever, but, like, I'd said something to mom and dad and talked to the school, and nothing happened. And there's this one day he was talking shit, and I was like, if you say anything else, I'm going to punch you. And then he said something, and I fucking
right
punched him, and I remember afterwards I kind of felt bad because, like, he had glasses, and so I hit him, and they went flying off. And, but after that, never messed with me. So
Yeah.
it worked out.
See, like, when I went to Hoyt, it was a little different then because I wouldn't say I was popular, but I was well known, so it wasn't much of an issue.
Yeah.
But there was one kid that just thought, like, I can say what I want to, you're not going to do nothing. We were in the middle of math. He kept saying stuff. I looked at him, I said, if you don't stop, I'm just going to get up. I'm going to smack the shit out of you. He said, oh, you won't do that. I'm like, say something again. Said something, I got middle class, smacked the shit out of him, sat back down. Teacher didn't see anything. And then I get told by him, or one of his friends, I remember, that he wants to meet in the bathroom at lunch. We're going to fight in the bathroom. I'm like, okay, fine by me.
Sign me up.
Went to the bathroom. All of his friends were there. He never showed up. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
So I had, and this is part of the reason why I think if someone is messing with you in a sense, give them a chance to stop. Tell them, like, hey, like, you need to stop or I'm going to fuck you up. Because I had a scenario that I was on the other side of it. I was the one saying something to somebody.
I bet you, big bully.
Well, I thought me and this kid were cool. Like, I didn't have any issues with him. Like, I wasn't trying to pick on him.
Yeah, so it was like a joking
Like,
matter.
I was literally just, I thought we were cool fucking with him. And I asked him, I was like, bro, your hair's in front of your eyes. We need to get a fucking haircut. Like, that's how I joke with all my buddies, like, kind of shit like that. And he didn't say anything or whatever. And then I said it to him in class, and he didn't say anything. He didn't act like it bothered him or nothing. So then when we left class, he, like, walked away, and I was like, I told him, I was like, come here, dude. I was like, wait, you can't fucking see me with all that hair? You need a haircut. And then he just fucking went off. Like, just turned around and started trying to fight me. And, again, why I think this is part of the reason why me and Nate are so close friends. Like, when that happened, and he started trying to fight me, it was, like, pure instinct for Nate to just jump in. Like, me and Nate both, like, the kid grabbed me, and
yeah, he's scared to be on 6th Ave.
the kid grabbed me and, like, had me up against the wall and was choking me, and Nate just came up behind him and just fucking hit him. The kid went to the ground or whatever, and Nate jumped on top and started hitting him, and then I started fucking hitting him, and then we both got pulled off or whatever. But
I in a sense, I kind of got bullied by a teacher as I was bullied. Kind of. And then I ended up switching classes. Joe actually had him.
who?
Mr. Wood.
Oh, yeah.
He would make me feel fucking stupid
Oh,
all
really?
the time.
I don't think I had
Eventually-
anything like that.
I can't remember if I switched classes or I got kicked out after because eventually I got tired of it. I just called him a fat motherfucker. I just started commenting on his weight and call him fat as fuck. And I can't remember if I ended up switching classes or if he made me switch, but I ended up switching classes.
Oh, talking about classes and maybe getting made to switch classes. So I had a global studies class, and you probably know about this. I don't know if you do. I had a global studies class, and I had to do it was either a presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation, or like an essay I had to write and submit it to the teacher, and then he would read it and grade it. And it was about gangs in I don't remember if it was in like a different country or what it was about. It was about gangs.
Gang.
And in my essay or PowerPoint, on your keyboard, and I swear to God, this was not intentional. This was pure accident. I argued with the principal about this. Was like, I did not do that. I said, I don't know if somebody got on my computer. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I know I didn't do that. And basically what it was in my essay or PowerPoint, I was writing bigger gangs, BIGGER. And on your keyboard, the N is right next to the B.
Ooh, caught in 4K.
So the teacher didn't even say anything to me about it. He just told the principal, and the principal pulled me down the office. And I was thinking, like, what the fuck did I do? What am I down here for? And he pulled it up on his computer and turned it around and said, "What's this?" And I instantly went, "I have no fucking idea." And he was like, why'd you type that in there? I said, I didn't fucking type that in there. He said, well, obviously you did. It's right there. I said, I don't give a fuck what you say. I didn't type that in there. So then he called mom and dad. Dad didn't answer. And on the phone with mom, he told mom.
Did he say it?
No. He told mom that if I ever did anything like that again, he would fail me in the class. Well, when dad found out about that, dad was fucking livid. Dad said, you are not going to fail him. So we ended up going up to the school after school and meeting with the principal and the teacher. And I remember dad and him were like arguing back and forth because dad was like, dad knew that I didn't do it. It had to have been somebody else or whatever. And dad was arguing with him about it. And dad was like, did you or did you not say you would fail my son out of this class? And all this other stuff. And it was Mr. Stefan. I don't know if you remember him or not. But he tried to deny that he said that. So then sitting in there in his office in front of Mr. Stefan, me and dad called mom and said, what did the principal say to you on the phone? And she said word for word exactly what he said. And my dad goes, oh, who's the fucking liar now? And
you should look down like, well, when we start learning about back when slavery was around, am I just going to leave that word out and you're not going to worry about it being wrong? Because if I have to write anything about that, then...
I think the answer is yes. You leave that word out.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes.
You'd be surprised because I did a report sort of like that, and they did not want me to leave it out. Like, they even had us read from a book, and the teacher was adamant about, don't skip over the word, read it how it says.
I feel like...
And made us read it.
I mean, I kind of understand it. It's different context. Like
yeah.
But the other thing is, like, after it happened and dad and him were in there arguing or whatever, and we called mom and all this other stuff, they're sitting there arguing, and I'm texting somebody on the phone. I don't remember. I think I was texting Nate about it. And I was literally typing what happened, that they're saying that I typed this. And I messed up again, but the opposite way, and hit B instead of the N. And I was like, I literally remember looking up from my phone going, I know what happened. And they go, what? And I said, look at your keyboard. The N and the B are right next to each other. I said I had to have just mistyped it. And then, yeah, nothing happened after that. But they did say the same thing, that if I ever did something like that again in class, they would drop me from the class.
That was a pretty good cover-up.
No, I promise that it was definitely an accident, and I had no idea what happened. I was so shocked when they were like, because I even said, I was like, somebody had to have got on my computer and did that. I said, I didn't fucking do it. And if I did, I don't know how I did it, so.
I don't remember a whole lot from school. I didn't do anything. I never got in too much trouble.
I was always in
I did a
trouble.
lot of
Didn't
bad
join very many. Yeah, that's where we get a lot of stories, is YouTube fucking badass kids.
Oh, when I went to East, it was way worse. I was selling drugs at East.
When I was at Sally's Bulk, I didn't really have anything that was super crazy. I would just get in, like, fights and stuff and ditching school to go smoke weed and all kinds of shit. But
Yeah, I think my one fight was about the most I ever did.
I was selling drugs and got stabbed in the knee by a screwdriver. Never told anybody about it. I literally just pulled it out and put a Band-Aid on it, and now I have a big-ass scar on my knee.
Nice.
yeah, I don't have anything crazy like that.
Yeah, you said earlier when that guy was picking on you, or whatever, he like choked you up against the
No,
locker or whatever.
he wasn't picking on me.
He was picking on him.
I didn't realize that it bothered him. I thought I thought we were cool and buddies, and apparently it bothered him enough to
The main
start a
thing
fight.
I was getting at was, you said he choked you up against the locker, and my first day in freshman year, a senior like did the 80s movie typical bully, grabbed me by the shirt up against the locker and was like, "What do you think you are?" And like,
Yeah.
didn't know who this person was, nothing. And I of course was like, "What? This is gonna be a fucking nightmare." First day of freshman year, and we had a guy in my class. His name's Troy Engledinger.
Engledinger.
He's but he was bigger than you by double probably than you now.
That's not physically possible.
It definitely
he'd have
maybe
to be-
not double tall, but he was big, but he could move, and I was so fucking happy. Like, I tried to like become friends with him, but like we had different groups of friends by a long shot. But he grabbed the guy and was like, "Hey, why don't you leave him the fuck alone?" And he was also a freshman, same class as me. And after that, I was that was one of the scarier things. I was like, first day of freshman year, I'm like, this is gonna be the worst 4 years of my fucking life. But then he stopped him, and luckily it wasn't like, it was literally just a senior trying to scare the shit out of a freshman. So it wasn't like he had a problem with me. So it didn't happen again after that. But yeah, I distinctly remember it because I hung out with Troy a few times after the fact, and I told him that. I was like, just so you know, like, that was like, you probably didn't think anything of it, but that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Like, if that hadn't happened, I would have been scared shitless all of high school.
See, I think I got pretty lucky when it comes to like high school, because obviously, I used to snowboard, and now I work on cars, and I always have since I was in high school. Being in that kind of group with those people, I wasn't necessarily like popular. Like, I wasn't one of the kids that my parents have a shit ton of money and everyone thinks I'm cool because I have cool things.
Yeah.
But I was popular enough to where nobody fucked with me, and I kind of just got along with everybody. Even some of those kids that did think they were top shit because they had money and blah, blah, blah. But I never had any scenarios like that. I did have a couple scenarios where, like, I saw other kids getting picked on, like, what's his name? I don't remember his first name, but I know his last name's like Espinoza. But they used to fuck with him all the time, and his name's Jesse. Actually, he lived in the same apartments.
I know who it is.
Yeah, and they used to fuck with him all the time, and all kinds of different shit. And I'm like, I don't understand what you get out of it. Like, yeah, he does some funny shit that it's kind of odd, but nobody benefits from it. And then the other
90% of the time when someone's picking on someone, it's to make themselves feel better about how they are.
And the other person was like Jacob Free, but he was kind of off the wall. Like, he was just a crazy kid. And Jacob Free is Russian, and he was adopted like from Russia. So he was kind of just a crazy dude, but like,
hell of a last name to be adopted from a different country. Go ahead.
There's a video of him jumping down flights of stairs at Southeast Polk, and like Scorpion at the bottom. I'm assuming you guys know what a scorpion. His fucking feet came up, touched the back of his head. And the only thing that I ever did to him, because I'm not gonna lie, there was definitely some people that like I probably picked on and probably shouldn't have. But like Jacob Free, and part of it is because I went to elementary school with him, but for some reason he just hated the song YMCA. So every time that I would see him, I would just start singing, and he would freak out. But in elementary school, it was really bad because he would like freak out, like he would be pissed. Whereas like once we got into high school, it was more of just he would like, I don't remember what he would make, like a noise of like Aaron, and then he would walk away. But I was gonna say, I never really ever got picked on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely picked on some kids, but I probably shouldn't have. But
all right, different question. What's the craziest thing that happened in school that you guys can remember?
Happened to me or happened in general?
In general, like you've seen it or part of it or whatever.
Like the craziest thing I remember seeing that was like, holy shit.
Yeah, kind of thing, yeah.
Just off the top of my head, the craziest thing I ever saw. So Joe, you never were in the new high school, right?
Nope.
But
I was supposed to be the first graduating class from there, and of course, I wasn't.
So on the far side of the building, closer to like Pleasant Hill. You know what I'm talking about, Katie? So you know where the bridge is, right?
Yep.
So there's a beam right next to that bridge that goes like halfway out into the cafeteria. When I was it was either study hall or lunch, there's a girl, and I'm not going to say her name, but she climbed up on top of the beam in the middle of social study. And this, mind you, this is on the third floor, I think. Second or third floor. She climbs up on the beam, walks all the way out to the end of it, and just stands there. And like, this was a girl that everyone was like, she might jump. So that was probably the craziest thing I remember seeing, was like, holy shit, like I'm gonna watch this happen, and I don't want to watch this happen.
Yeah, that's probably similar, not similar, but like the craziest thing I can think of in high school is some kid drove down to Yellowbanks and shot himself in his car. And like I remember knowing the name, but I don't think I ever remember who the guy was. But like we got day off school and everything, and there was a lot of people, myself included, that were like, if you go to the service or whatever, then you get the day off school or whatever. And a lot of people were like, well, I'm gonna go, and then didn't go.
Either didn't go or just went because they got out of school for it.
Yeah, like I was never really involved enough in school to like I had like I said last week, my 2-3 friends, and that's basically all I ever talked to. So like I never heard about any of those crazy stories. And there was one time in junior high, I almost got the invite to the popular, bully group or whatever, and I quickly realized that I did not fit there because I don't remember exactly how it happened, but at some way a piece of paper or something got lit on fire, and I ended up with it in my hands, and I panicked and threw it in the trash can, and it lit the shit in the trash can on fire. And so that was just full on panic. I don't know what to do. But then one of the popular kids, his name was Justin St. Pierre, happened to be in that class, and he apparently thought I did it on purpose or something. So he started talking to me, and the funny thing is, the guy that put me up against the locker was his brother, Nate St. Pierre. And
named George. Go ahead.
No, that's an MMA fighter.
I know.
But I remember because he started talking to me and stuff, and he was talking to me. I don't remember what the fuck it was, but I did something. Oh, so my friend James was actually in that class, and I had thrown something at him, and because I was in that turmoil of these are my friends, but this is the popular group.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, keep myself in there, and I hit him in the head, and he goes, "Oh man, you hit him in the dome piece," and I went, "What?" He's the dome piece, and I thought he was saying dumpies. You hit him in the dome piece, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. And that's when I was like, oh, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
I'm not cool like these kids. And so the next day I was just like, I'm gonna just sit with my friend. And I couldn't even sit with James because he got mad at me, which rightfully so.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he realized what was happening of I was kind of using him to get in with the popular group at that time. Luckily, I quickly realized that was bad choice, big mistake, and it took a week, and we obviously became friends again. But
there was one thing that I think I might have told Cody about already. So you know Philip? Have you ever met my buddy Philip?
I don't think so.
We were in chemistry. I think it was a chemistry class. I don't know. It was one of the classes we had together, but he wanted to go to the bathroom, and our teachers told him no because he had already gone or something like that at the beginning of the class, or told him he should have went before the class started, so he has to wait. And Philip was like, no, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And don't ask me why. I don't know why this was his thought process of, I'm going to do this then because fuck you. But she kept telling him no. So he got up out of his chair, walked over to her fish tank, reached in, grabbed a fish, put it in his mouth, swallowed it.
I thought you were gonna say he fucking ate into her.
Looked at her and said, "Can I go to the bathroom now?" She said, "Did you just eat my fish?" He said, "Yeah, and I'll eat another one if you don't let me go to the bathroom." And she said, "You can go to the bathroom and then make your way to the principal's office." So he went to the principal's office, and then after that, it became a rolling joke. Randomly, he would just walk over when she's not looking and just grab a fish out and eat her fish. And then by the end of probably a month later, there was no fish in her fish tank.
Nice.
And there was no way for her to prove that Philip ate them. So she just didn't do anything about it. She just didn't have fish.
That reminds me, so we had a spelling test in, I think it was 3rd grade. And I don't know why I had such, because it's fine. But the spelling test was about human bodies or organs and shit. And for each one, the teacher would tell a story of my so and so had his surgery and got that removed or something like that. And I guess I don't know for sure if it was because of that, but I started feeling real queasy. And she just kept going, and I was like, I'm for sure gonna throw up. And I, raised my hand and was like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? And she said no, we're in the middle of a spelling test, blah, blah, blah. And apparently I turned like whatever color, and she was like, oh, something's wrong, because I asked again, and she's like, yeah, you can. And I had to run to the bathroom and fucking throw up.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I was just going to say it, and that was the whole story.
So talking about spelling test, there was a kid in my class in like 5th grade. His name was Cole Vincent. And so we were taking a spelling test, and at this point I had like a smartphone. So I would never get enough. So if you were like the top 3 on the spelling test or whatever, then you would get extra. It was like extra time at recess or something. You'd get something for it. And I would never be one of the top 3. Never. I never once won it. So we were taking a spelling test, and I was sitting in the back of the class, and I was like, fuck this. So I just looked up, like, I would make it autocorrect, and I would look up each word that they would say, and I ended up getting every single one of them right. And Cole Vincent tried calling me out on it and tried saying that I cheated and that there's no way I got them all right and all this other stuff. And I remember looking at him and go, it's not my fault, you're dumb, you could have got all of them right too. And then I ended up getting whatever it was and kept doing. I did it like every time after that.
Nice. Yeah, I remember being, because like in elementary school and maybe a little bit of junior high, I was real competitive. Those multiplication tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it was like, you see who get them done the fastest or whatever. It was always me and this one girl were like first and second almost every time. And then same thing with the spelling tests of the pre-test. If you get them 100%, you don't have to take the post-test.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was always competitive about trying to get those all, so I never had to take the post-test. And then the reading comprehension stuff, I would read as fast as I possibly could. And like, so you had to like remember what you read. And I was always really good at that stuff. And then like I hit junior high and high school, and I was just like, I don't give a shit about any of this anymore.
I was really good at math in elementary, junior high, and then when I hit high school, when I started smoking a shit ton of weed, I fucking sucked at math.
Well, at least you have sort of an excuse. I was just dumb.
You probably just got lazy.
To this day, I still think I failed statistics, but statistics was a requirement to graduate. So I'm 95% sure. I don't know. Is 95 a high percentage? I don't know statistics. That the teacher gave me a D so I could graduate.
To pass.
Yeah.
I think
I was failing for sure up until like the last couple weeks.
I think I had kind of the same thing, but it was in it was one of my English classes, just because at this time I gave no fucks about any of my classes. But I used to always cause problems in her class, and I think she gave me a D- just so she wouldn't have to have me in her class again.
Yeah.
And that was in, I think, freshman year.
Funny thing is, Spanish class. I used to have a friend in Southeast Polk named Santos, Spanish speaker.
Santos Garan
I don't remember what his last name.
owns H&S Concrete now.
No, not him.
Oh,
But he used to do my Spanish homework for me on the bus because he rode the same bus as us.
yeah.
So I would get A's and everything else on tests. But then it came to speaking, like oral speeches in middle class, and I would just do the most basic speeches. But the teacher started looking into it, like how are you doing so good?
Yeah.
Your homework, but oral you're doing the bare minimum. So she started looking into it more, and this is about the time they finally put a camera on the bus. So you checked the camera and seen Santos did my homework. So she went back through, failed me on every gave me an F on every piece of homework, and she came up to me and she said, if you don't at least pass the final, you will fail this class. So I said, okay, what's the final? She's like, well, I'll give you a prep book, whatever. And then she said, the written part, worth some of it, but the most is the oral, to where you have to get up and give a speech in front of everybody. My speech to pass consisted of 4-paragraph speech of every sentence started with "me gusta," and I passed.
What's me gusta mean?
I like.
Oh. Kinsey still. So I was always told that you had to have a foreign language in order to graduate. And to this day, I never took a foreign language class in high school. Never did. So I don't know how I graduated, but
Well, I think there was like 3 options. It was like French, Spanish, or not a language class, but like an extra English class or something. Because I think it was just a language class in general. Like, you could have done English, but I think it had to be like an advanced English class or something like that.
I was always told foreign language, and the options were French, Spanish, or German.
ours are just French or Spanish, and I never took either of them.
And mine was you had to have 2, so it's like Spanish 1, Spanish 2. French
I
1,
know
French
I know
2.
I took 2 years of Spanish, which I remember very little to none of. So I think maybe that was the same as when I went. I don't remember.
Donde está el baño?
Where's the toilet?
Where's the bathroom?
Oh,
The only
I
thing
didn't
I
take
remember,
Spanish.
I say it all the time, is "Como es el tiempo," because I'm pretty sure that's what's the temperature, but it sounds like what time is it, and I just think it's funny.
They used to, so in my Spanish class, the word point and bitch in Spanish are very, very similar.
what are they?
Puta is bitch. Punta is point. Where you gotta pronounce the N. If you don't pronounce the N, you're saying bitch in Spanish. I fucked up one of my oral exams, and I said that to my teacher, and she sent me to the principal's office thinking that I intentionally did that.
Kind of similar
Give
to
me
my
100 puntos, puta.
It's kind of similar to my bigger gangs issue that I had.
Yeah.
No, mine wasn't racial.
Yeah, I was say, yeah, yours is a little bit less of a problem.
Yeah.
And I almost slipped up on my oral exam for the final. I'm like, okay, this is a lot of gooses. Maybe I'll figure something else out. At the time, Santos was teaching me cuss words in Spanish. I didn't really think about it, and I almost called somebody in class or the teacher a dumbass. Because at first I didn't realize, like, I was about to say, I'm like, wait a minute. What did he say that meant? And I'm like, oh, nope, can't say that one.
I remember people, I don't remember where it came from, but people would say chupa huevos all the time.
Which means suck on my eggs.
I was just say, and like now, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's eggs.
Yeah.
But at the time, everyone obviously was like, it's balls. And it definitely,
It's eggs, yeah.
That's eggs?
Yeah. Huevos, that's eggs.
Oh, that takes me back to an idea I wanted to bring up on here of because that made me think, like, ever since I was little, I knew that's what I thought it meant, balls. That takes you back to an idea of what was one thing that you guys were told when you were younger that you thought was true, and come to find out that it's definitely not true.
That if you're driving with the fucking dome light on the car,
I hate you. That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I instill that in the kids now too.
The other one was when we were younger. You guys used to tell me all the time that if I stayed cross-eyed too long, I would get stuck like that. I used to believe that one. But the biggest one was if you're driving with the dome light on, you can get a ticket for it.
And I actually believed that into adulthood.
I did too.
Until I don't remember. It might have been another podcast I was listening to, and they said something about that, and one of them was like, "That's not illegal," and then they looked it up, and I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
I've just been
because it makes sense.
At one point, I was just
sorta.
like, I don't even care. I was like, if they give me a ticket for a light on, that's fine, whatever. And then
the way I remember how it was. The way I figured out was when cars started coming out with TVs in them, and I started thinking, like, what's the difference?
Yeah, that's true.
It gives off light as well.
Well, and the other thing is, like, when would you ever use that light otherwise? Like, I mean, maybe if you are parked and you forget something and you gotta go real quick, but like 90% of the time,
when you open the door, it comes on automatically.
Well, yeah, but then they can just have it default to that and not have a button where you can turn it on manually.
That's
saying 90% of the time you ever actually need to use that is because you're driving like cross country, so you're driving at night and you're like, I can't see shit in this car.
And the other thing too, like when you pull the visor down and you pick it up, it has lights right there.
Yeah,
you pull the visor down, lift that up just fine. Same thing.
Yeah, but you don't usually use the mirror while you're driving.
Well, like the
lights
passenger.
are in the mirror part.
That's not about like the passenger.
Yeah, I guess.
Also,
Yeah, now
I
that-
know you guys didn't give a shit because you just skipped over it. Mine was I witnessed a racial war at East.
I remember you telling me about
Blacks
that.
against whites.
I have not heard about that.
Oh, it was all over the news because someone let a gun off in the air.
Nice. Sounds about right.
Hence why I'm glad I did not go to East.
And I was up there when it was going on, but I wasn't part of it until I almost had to be.
Yeah.
This big burly dude ran past me, stopped in his tracks as I'm sitting on the railroad tracks, looks over at me, and I just kind of look at him, and then he looks forward and goes. I'm like, it was probably a good call.
Alrighty, guys. I think we're going to head out for the day. I want to give a big thanks to Cody for coming out and sharing some of his experiences and stories. This podcast was a little different than our last one. We did kind of lean into the funnier side a little bit on this one. Reason being is we got Cody on here today, and out of us, he is, I will admit it, probably the funnier one. But I think that's going to be it for today. We'll see you next week on Same Routes, Different Routes.
Still the roots hold them tight.